And I know there are mistakes made when people make the move up purchase, when they sell their house to buy what they think is even a better, bigger, nicer place. What are some of these mistakes, and how do you avoid them?
Yeah. This is the one that can be the most stressful and the most difficult, especially if you make some of these mistakes. So first off, I'm just going to talk about what people should do in this scenario.
Okay. And here he is. He is back. Realty expert John Brodeen. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good.
We were talking names, and I said, "Does anybody ever call you Johnny?" And you go, "Nah, once in a while, but it doesn't bother you." So,
No.
but I'm not going to call you Johnny.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem right.
Sounds more juvenile a little bit.
It kind of does. You don't. You just. I don't know if you look like a Johnny to me or a John. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A lot of people think my real name's Jonathan, but it's actually not.
Oh, it's not?
Just John on my birth certificate. Yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wow. I would have assumed it was Jonathan, but
nope.
Wow. You see it. I've done it. You buy your first home, and then it gets time to, maybe upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Your family maybe grows. You don't want that starter house anymore. And I know there are mistakes made when people make the move up purchase, when they sell their house to buy what they think is even a better, bigger, nicer place. What are some of these mistakes, and how do you avoid them?
Yeah. This is the one that can be the most stressful and the most difficult, especially if you make some of these mistakes. So first off, I'm just going to talk about what people should do in this scenario.
Okay.
So the very first step, you've decided that maybe you've outgrown your starter home. You need to get into something bigger, nicer. You want to be in a different neighborhood. Whatever the reason is, once you've decided this, you need to make sure your house is ready to sell. So first step is going to be getting your house ready to sell. Finish any little repairs you need to do, any little cosmetic updates, painting, carpet, whatnot, decluttering, get rid of your extra stuff, pack away your extra stuff, throw away or donate the stuff that you don't need anymore, clean up the exterior of your house, take care of cleaning up and maybe restaining decks, clean up your patio, yard, lawn, landscaping, everything. Get the house looking as good as it possibly can. Once you've made this decision, this is something that's going to need to happen regardless, so you might as well get working on it right away. Second step, very close second, you could even do this first, is talking to a lender to see if you can qualify to buy your next home without a home sale contingency. Now, most people can't qualify because you basically need your debt to income ratio would need to support both payments at once. And especially when people are moving up into a larger, more expensive home, this is really tough. Mm-hmm. But if you are able to qualify for this, maybe you have really high income, low debt, whatever, it's going to open up some more convenient options. But since this isn't the norm, we're going to talk about what to do if you do need to sell your home in order to buy the next one.
Okay.
So you've got kind of a fundamental problem that you need to solve. If the market conditions make it easy to sell, it's also going to be hard to buy. Okay. And if the market conditions make it easy to buy, it's also going to be hard to sell.
Okay. Yep. So makes sense.
It's just that's the nature of when you need to sell a home and buy a home at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 4 years, we've been in a market where it's been difficult to buy and easy to sell. We've had low inventory. Prices have been rising because of that. Lots of bidding wars on attractive homes. It's been that way for quite a while. To some extent or another, it's been more extreme at times. It's been less extreme at other times. But in general, that's kind of how you'd categorize how things have been over the last 4 years. So if it's really competitive like it has been, and it's tough to get an offer accepted on the home that you want, it can seem almost impossible. It might be tough to get an offer accepted on the home you want, even if you don't have a home sale contingency. Like you're running into multiple offer situations, bidding wars. So it can seem almost impossible if you have a home sale contingency, and it can be almost impossible in a competitive market. So the solution is you really can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out on this. You have to fully commit to making a move. Considering that you need to sell your old home in order to buy the next one, if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're just going to drag this process on much longer. You're going to end up either having to compromise on the type of house you want. You're going to have to rush to get into a house, and it might not be exactly what you want. It could lead you to a lot of heartbreak where you're trying to offer on homes contingent on home sale, and you're just getting beaten by non-contingent offers all the time. So the solution is, like we said, fully commit to this move-up home purchase. And that means list your home before you start shopping for homes. So wait until your home has either an accepted offer on it and it's pending to begin shopping, or in more extreme situations where it's really low inventory and really competitive, wait until your home closes. This is going to be less convenient if you wait until your home closes to begin shopping, because you're going to need to move twice. You're going to need to line up some sort of rental for a short temporary thing, and then after that, you'll move into your forever home. But you need to really think about this. Buying a home is a long-term decision. Getting a quick rental is not. The inconvenience is worth it to be able to get the type of home that you want and not have to like ridiculously overpay for it. If you don't do this and the market's extremely competitive, you're going to be left with the scraps that the other people don't want. And you're going to have to either rush or settle, compromise.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the home that you want.
And that strikes me when you say you have to fully commit to making the move. I get that. You wouldn't think that would be an issue, but you might be attached. You might be emotionally attached. You might not want to move. You might not want to do all the effort and everything it takes.
Yeah.
And if you're heeing and hawing, you can lose out on your opportunities.
Yeah.
But I could see how that would be a lot bigger of a problem than you would think it would be.
And it could be just procrastinating because it is going to be inconvenient. If it's a seller's market, but it's not insane, you could get your home sold. You could get your house under contract, rather. So you've accepted an offer, and then you start shopping, and you could have taken, when you got that offer, you could have negotiated with the buyers who offered on your home and said, hey, the sale of our home is contingent on us finding and closing on a home of choice. But you still are going to run into this point where maybe you haven't found your home of choice yet, and the buyers are done waiting, and they're like, hey, we're not going to extend another time. If you guys can't meet this closing date, we're out and we're going to find a different place that we can actually buy.
Sure.
So at that point, then you're still going to have to make this same decision. We haven't found a house yet. We're not going to be able to close on a new one in time. Are we going to close on our house right now and move into a rental for a little bit? Or are we just going to basically go and give up and try to find a different buyer, which in that case, going back on the market, you're probably not going to have as much success as you originally had. So it's something that you want to just prepare yourself for. And that's just the nature of a tough market. If the market's really slow, maybe you are able to get your offer contingent. That's contingent on a home sale accepted. It could be just as uncertain of a process because who knows how long it's going to take for your house to sell, or if your house will even sell. And in that whole time, while you're waiting for your house to sell, you could still get bumped out by a non-contingent offer.
Right.
So it really, when you do make that decision, it's best to just get the pain over with, get the inconvenience over with, and jump in with both feet. That's why I say get that house ready to sell. The least inconvenient way to do this would be if you can get your house under contract. You make your sale of your home contingent on you finding a home of choice, and the timing works out where you're able to get an offer accepted on the next home. It's much easier to get an offer accepted contingent upon the successful closing of your home that's already under contract compared to contingent on home sale where your house isn't even listed yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How common is it in Grand Forks, John? Because we did it. Our first starter house, it actually took about 7 years because we bought it right before the flood, and I had started working on it. Then the flood came, and we had basically had to start all over again.
Okay.
But I was just to the point where I really liked it. I was finally done fixing and remodeling everything.
Yeah.
And we had always talked about moving out in the country, and next thing you know, we made a step up.
Yeah.
Is it that common in Grand Forks for people to get their starter home and then move up here? Because, a lot of people, their first home, well, then they might just move, and move away, and they got to go get a new home. But it happens a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right on with that. I think the average amount of time that people stay in a home is about 7 years.
Okay.
For the starter home, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little less than the average.
Okay.
So, it could be less than 7 years. That's the average that people stay in their very first home.
Okay.
But that's pretty typical. Most people buy a home when they're a little earlier in their careers, and, life changes. Maybe they're making more money, and their financial situation is better off because they've been building up equity in this property and saving money, and maybe they've had raises and stuff, and their family has grown. Now they need more space, and they can afford more house. Yeah, so a little more unusual for people to stay in their very first house.
Yeah, because
forever.
I know people, couples that decided for one reason or another to never have children or a family.
Yep.
They're still in the same smaller house, but
Yeah.
they're good with that. They're fine. But these are the people that maybe have a lake place now
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things, because they're not spending everything on a mortgage. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's if you want to stay here and have a family, you're going to have the room to do it, and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a very common thing. You're definitely not alone with that.
Mm-hmm.
People oftentimes buy smaller starter homes, and and then when life changes
Yeah.
and stuff, they're hopefully ready financially to make a jump up to something that's a little bit more convenient for them.
Now, your house, your family obviously is growing.
Yeah.
Are you good at your family size now, or what it's coming to be? Or are you going to
Yeah.
have to make that step someday?
I honestly, so when me and my wife bought our house, I guess Carolyn was still in grad school.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
in 2017. And we bought a little bit bigger house than what we needed at the time. And we wanted something that was a little bit cosmetically ugly that we could work on as time went on and
Sure.
hopefully add some value and add some equity and make it ours. And we wanted something that was a good size in a good neighborhood so we wouldn't really have to move if we didn't want to. We didn't really plan it that much, but it turned out where we could really stay in our home for as long as we wanted
Yeah,
to.
there's room to, you're
don't
talking
see
about
us
a
moving
nursery
anytime
and
soon.
stuff. And
Yeah, we got 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs, and then another bedroom and another bathroom
yeah,
downstairs.
you got room for plenty more kids there, John.
Yeah, it might not happen, I don't think, but we're definitely going to be comfortable having 2 kids there.
Sure.
I mean, if it starts to feel like we're outgrowing it, I'd think about it, but right now I have no plans.
Yeah,
of
and you also
moving.
nailed it on a few other things too, like neighborhoods and
Yeah.
things like that. Maybe you're perfectly happy and content where you're at.
Yeah, I like the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more likely to keep kind of fixing our home up and making it nicer because it's got
Mm-hmm. Sure.
it's got the square footage that we need. It's got the number of bedrooms and bathrooms that we need. Very few little things about the house that I can't change that I don't like about it. So I'll keep on, updating it to our taste and make it as nice as possible. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be forced to move anytime soon, which is nice.
Well, folks, if you're thinking about upgrading or moving into what you think will be your finally forever home, there are mistakes that can be made. And if you want to avoid those, you should probably get a hold of this guy. First off, plans for the weekend?
Plans for the weekend. So my wife's birthday is next week. So I think we're going to do something on Saturday to
Okay.
celebrate
Well, cool.
this weekend.
All right.
So,
Well, wish her a happy birthday from us, would you?
Yeah, we'll do.
If somebody wants to get a hold of Realty expert John Brodeen, how do they do that?
701-213-5428. That's my cell phone number. I did write a free ebook on move up home buying and all the different scenarios. There's kind of like a flow chart of different decisions you're going to need to make at different stages in the process. Goes into more detail than I went into here today. If you want a copy of that, just shoot me a text or send me an email, johnbrodeenrealtor@gmail.com, and I'll get that sent over to you.
And like we had mentioned on Wednesday, John, you're not just a 9-to-5 guy. You know what? Call you up. That doesn't matter. If you happen to be in bed, leave a message. You'll
Yep.
call back in the morning.
Yep. Text me. My phone's
Easy
always
to do.
on. Give me a call. Set up a time to chat. I'm available to people all the time. So
All right. There you go. Have yourself a great weekend, man.
yeah, you too, John.
All right, there you go, your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. That's your Friday edition with Realty expert John Brodeen. And from all of us at Grand Forks Best Source and from all of them at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, have yourself a great weekend, everybody.